Howdy, howdy. When I did my video, I guess it was Tuesday night maybe, I had forgotten about one product in the product line, and that's SORX2 Stain and Odor Remover. The X2 comes from the second version that we built. We reformulated it to take the product down from being at 8 ounces per 1 gallon of product. What's up, Darren? Down to 6.5 ounces per gallon. And what SOR Stain and Odor Remover SORX2 is a it's an oxygenated stain removing agent or chemical that's designed to remove urine stains and any other color stain that you have in the carpet organically. Organic based stain is what that's designed for removal of. So what you do is you go into the home, and it's subsurface extraction is what we call it. You go into the home, you take your, what I always would recommend you do first is extract. Get everything that's in the carpet out as much as can be released with just extracting. The next thing, and the reason you want to do that is you don't want to have chemistry mixing with any of the stuff that the customer put under the carpet. So the next thing you do with that product is you go and take a 5-gallon bucket. Hey Bob, how are you? Take a 5-gallon bucket, and I'll talk about the bucket in just a second, but you'll put 6.5 ounces of the SORX2, and then you add a gallon of the hottest water you can get. And then what happens is the product starts off-gassing, and it starts bubbling and foaming like crazy, and you go through and pour that product onto the affected areas. So typically we're working with urine-stained areas, so it's going to subsurface, put the product into the carpet and the padding in one shot. Okay, Vinny, this is awesome. Thank you for telling me that. What's up, Jason? So you're going through and you flood the area with the SORX2 and let it sit in there, and it festers and goes crazy on the carpet fiber and in the pad. Let it soak. If you can give it an hour, your success rate is through the roof. If you can't give it an hour and you've got 30 minutes, it does really well. What's up, Ty? It does really well at that 30-minute mark, but an hour totally eliminates urine, the smell, the color, everything associated with it. It removes it, and it does a really good job at that. Actually, Ty was one that showed me a little concoction he built. He took a 5-gallon bucket. He took half the lid and cut the lid off to where you could pour the water, the hot water, and the chemical into the jug, the 5-gallon bucket. On the other side, he drilled a bunch of holes in the lid. You don't necessarily have to drill them. You could actually poke them if you wanted, but he put a bunch of holes in it, so then he goes through and he's pouring it on the stains, and it's acting like a water can to like a, what is that called? Where you're watering your garden, a water can, is that it? But you go through and you can sprinkle it on there like rainfall almost, whatever. You just pour it on there, and it makes it pour really easy, and it helps control the flooding or the off-gassing of the chemistry. It keeps it kind of in the bucket more contained. If you're dealing with a large amount, like huge areas, a full bedroom or something that's just saturated with urine, and you're going to mix more product at a time, what I would do at that point is take your, let's say you do 2.5 gallons of water, and you're adding your SORX2 to it. Do it in the area that's worse affected, because it's going to start off-gassing and bubbling out of the 5-gallon bucket. But again, carrying it around and pouring it on all the stains is what's going to be getting your the product into the carpet and in the pad. If you have something that's just gnarly, a really, really bad stained area, you can actually do a 2-day process and do it, flood it day 1, go back the next day, and do your extraction. So the important thing about the extraction side, using a water claw type product, a subsurface extraction tool, is important, and I'm not a fan of the water injected ones. I think you're not able to gauge how much water you're flushing it with, but I do like the standard water claw tool where you're going through and so if you put a gallon of product, who's doing angry faces? I can't tell who's doing that. If you're doing if you pour a gallon of SORX2 formula onto the carpet fiber, you're going to want to rinse it with 5 times that amount. So 1 gallon, you're going to want to rinse with 5 gallons of water. Yeah, it totally does great on stubborn yellow stains. And USR, which we'll talk about later, also does the same thing, just a little bit different. But yeah, the SOR is designed to remove those stains, the yellow and the smell. Um, but when you're extracting, it's important to rinse with 5 times the amount you put in. So if you put an ounce in, you rinse with 5 ounces. Don't just pour all 5 ounces or 5 gallons on at one time of water. Do it in stages. The reason I always say to do it 5 times the amount of chemistry you put in the fiber is really important for the customer, not so much for us because it's not a big deal. If the carpet, if it dries and it has any more of that stuff, the chemistry in the carpet and it's left in there, all that happens is it dries and leaves it like if you were to take flour or sugar or powdered sugar and sprinkle on the carpet, that's what it kind of dries like. It has this white powdery residue which vacuums away easily. But Mrs. Jones doesn't need to. She's paying you to do it. She doesn't. You don't need to go through and leave her the next day with this white powdery substance. So by rinsing with 5 times the amount, you eliminate that issue of it drying with any issues there. Um, that's probably all I can say about it for urine stain removals or organic stain removals. Lastly, yeah, that crusty white residue pisses people off, and it makes actually the consumer, the end user, so that your customer, it makes them freak out. They're like, "What the heck happened to my carpet?" So that's why it's important. Again, if you pour a gallon of SORX2 on the carpet fibers, rinse it with 5 gallons of water. Go 5 times that amount. Mrs. Jones, she's my favorite. I don't know who Mrs. Jones is. It's just an easy name to flow with. The other thing about SORX2, which is a really cool product, Trevor, call me tomorrow, please. The other thing that's neat about the SORX2 is that you can use it. It's really versatile for boosting. So if you got something that's just wicked nasty, I don't care, tile and grout, whatever you're working on, that's just a really bad, dirty, gross situation, you can actually boost. SORX2 can boost the pre-spray. Now, on pH terms, it'll actually, if you're using a 12 pH and you're using the SORX2, the pH will actually be around 11. That's funny, Grant. I just noticed your name was changed. Nice. Good to see you, Crystal. Um, but so when you're boosting with it, the pH level, the factor of the pH will drop a little bit because it's 10 and 12 equals 11, right? It's pretty easy math. But the effectiveness of the product, because of the way the chemistry is formulated, how it off gases, it actually does a really good job at breaking soil away. I learned that from a customer who had been doing it, and I didn't really believe that it would work, and I didn't believe that it would actually cut. Yeah, you, Trevor. I didn't believe it would actually cut like they had mentioned it to me. When I actually started playing with it, I found that it worked really, really well. So if you got like really bad traffic areas, you can go through and pre-spray those traffic areas with it, and it'll actually do a really good job. And then the only thing that I got to tell you about with when you're doing like a unvented cap, so a pump up sprayer or an injection sprayer, remember that the cap needs to be vented a little bit because this product's going to grow. It wants to off gas, and if it's not allowed to off gas, what can happen is the container can crack. Anywhere in the seams of the container, it can pop those seams. We've actually had people tell us that the containers actually, blew up basically. So you want to make sure you're being careful with that and being smart with it. So again, I missed that on the PureForce product lineup. I missed the video last night. I just got home too late, and it was just not going to happen last night. I was worthless, so it was going to be dumb. But I just want to get on that real quick. Start with SORX2 since I missed it, and then we'll continue doing these videos as often as I can to just bring you more information about each product. As you guys are watching the videos live, send me questions about it, and that's great. I'll do my best to answer them. But also send me private messages if you want anything specific talked about, and I will do my best to bring those up into one of our videos. So, like always, we love you. We appreciate the support. We are so grateful that we've got as much PureForce out in the country and around the world that it is. It's been great. Yeah, David, it's fun when you're by yourself. If your customers are around, they'll freak out. Anyways, we appreciate you guys so very much. I'll do a quick rundown again as I try to do with all our distributors. Crystal Anderson, Jason Ellis up there in Ogden, Utah. Again, you can find everybody that I mentioned here on my friends list, and you just contact them directly if they're closer to you than me, It sure saves money on. I have not, Vinny. I've got a claim going in, an official claim going in tomorrow to try to get my money back. But so Crystal Anderson, Jason Ellis are in Ogden, Utah. So super fast shipping anywhere around that Utah state. It gets there much quicker than it saves a whole day from where I'm at. Ryan Scoggins runs our Tempe location, myself at the Phoenix location. Jim Nape, Larry White up at Wolf Cleaning Equipment and Supply up in Chicago, Illinois. David Matthews Bellevue is up in Rochester, New York. And then Darren Hickman, Martin Medley, a.k.a. the Monkey Mark, and Chloe Hicks will take care of you out of Nashville, Tennessee. And Darren just posted today a really good deal on some CRBs that I think it's limited time pricing. So make sure if you're in the market for a CRB that you get in touch with Janrez, because they've got smoke and value on those things. They're very, very, very affordable right now. And I'm probably going to bring some into both the Phoenix and Tempe location as well. They've got a big container coming from wherever they're built. But again, if you're in the market for CRB, killer value right now. Anyways, you guys, thank you all so much. Have a great night. We'll try to get back on here in the next day or two. We'll see you.